Welcome back, everybody. Automotive Inc. Today we're in the office and we're going to do a video on some follow-up. So I still get a ton of questions coming across on the 7.3 Godzilla, my experience with it, and of course we have a 2025 Chevy L5P. We had a 2024 Chevy with the 6.6 L8T, and honestly, I had a viewer reach out and say that I need to answer some questions that keep coming up. For those that are new to the channel and you haven't seen those videos, some of this information may be new to you also, but with my experiences, please smash the subscribe button, helps a small channel out. Thumbs up and notification bell at the end helps a small channel out. But let's get to the first question that comes up a lot. Did the 7.3 have enough power? Okay, so when you're coming from diesel going to gas, this is going to be a hard step for anybody. You're going to miss that exhaust brake if you had one. If you had a new enough diesel, you're going to miss that. You're going to miss that turbo, the sound, the everything. And you're going to miss a little bit of that instantaneous power. There's no way to really deliver a difference power from diesel to gas. There's just an enormous fork in the road there when you're used to it. So to answer that question, absolutely, the 7.3 Godzilla is the most powerful standard truck gas engine that you can get. Now, each manufacturer has different ones, and Ford even has a Babyzilla. It has plenty of power, but keeping in mind, depending on your towing needs, that's going to be restrict the truck's towing ability more so than power. All of these gas engines from all the manufacturers have more gas power than they ever have in history, and that equates to, yes, the 7.3 Godzilla was never experienced where I felt like I was all the way to the floor. The L8T on the Chevy, there was one instance coming out of Leadville where we were pedal to the metal and all it would do would be 45 miles per hour. The 7.3 brought it all the way from Grand Junction pulling 19,000 pounds, and that truck went up every pass and it did just fine. Compared to a diesel, I would say it was pretty good. All right, next question. Is the 7.3 better than the Hemi and the 6.6 L8T? Well, if you guys watch the channel, you know my experience with the 6.4 Hemi. I'm not all that big of a fan. And keeping in mind the 6.4 Hemi, to get higher towing numbers, you have to have the perfect truck. You have to have a 3500, you have to have the right gearing, and finding one of those without a special order is very hard. When it comes to the 6.6 L8T, you have a direct injection engine, you have a port injection engine, two different kind of animals. Ram does use the active fuel management. I'm not a fan of that in any manufacturer. Ford does not use that, GM does not use that. And of course, when it comes to the transmissions backing, you have the Allison transmission backing the L8T, which I think is a fantastic transmission, irregardless if it is an actual Allison based design or whatever. But both are different animals, and I would say that the 6.6 LAT is an excellent engine. Kong has done great. It's in excess of 75,000 miles now, and zero oil consumption, anything like that. I've had two 6.4 Hemis catastrophically end their life while we rented them at my work, and they were just 2500s towing light loads. One blew the engine, the other one went down. Not sure whatever happened with that. That was an enterprise thing. And the 7.3 again is the most powerful. So in a way, it does have some nuances that make it better. Keeping in mind now, you do pay a small upcharge to get the 7.3 over the 6.8 Babyzilla. And I think that that upcharge is definitely worth it if you're going forward. All right, so why choose the 7.3 over the 6.8? That Babyzilla, again, towability. The 6.8 has its limitations when it comes to towability. That's just the setup. It gets a little bit different transmission, not as heavy duty. If you get the bigger transmission with the 7.3, then you also get the more towability and a more robust transmission. Not knocking the other transmission, not knocking the 6.8. Again, I think if you're under 10, my experience towing with 6.8, and if you watch back the professional trucker when he did his video with us and his experience with the 6.8, I think the 6.8 is good under 10, and I think that fits most people's needs. So again, if you're buying a truck or ordering a truck and there's a small upcharge for the 7.3, I don't think the fuel economy is going to be that much better going with the 6.8, and I think you go with the 7.3, it makes that bit more of a difference. But I've heard people having problems with 6.8 like the 7.3 did initially, so you kind of just roll the dice on that one. But I would choose the 7.3 every day over the 6.8. I mean, you're talking a small difference, and you'll be forecasting for the bigger numbers later. All right. Do you regret going back to a diesel? So I try and stay on trend. Obviously, we don't have any new bumps in engine power for 2025. And you guys know that Loki was bought back. If you don't, head over to the channel and see why Loki, my 2024 Super Duty, was bought back by Ford. And, I regret it sometimes because diesel's now, again, about 80 cents more a gallon. I have DEF. I have lots more oil that go into that engine when I change the oil. I have fuel filter changes I have to worry about. I do have to keep in the back of my mind the emissions and regen concerns that you would have with a diesel, short idling those, although we have videos coming up talking about the changes. And of course, Gail Banks, one of the studs, one of my favorite people, is so smart. You can go over to his channel and check out his L5P Gen 2 teardown and see how the designs have made it easier to deal with regens less. But yes, you do have that. So do I regret it? Well, honestly, the numbers that both Chevy, GM, and Ford offer with their gas, you don't really need to go diesel anymore. So is there regrets? I do like my L5P. I think it's really nice. And having the exhaust brake is nice. But I do regret a little bit having to come back to a diesel, but I think it was nice to come back to it after such a long time. So yes, there was a little bit of regret there. Fuel prices, all the things we mentioned before. All right, is the 7.3 reliable? So early generations of the 7.3 did have a lot of problems with the lifters, rollers, and catastrophic failure. That has since kind of tapered out. I've had mixed reviews from viewers saying that they have fleet trucks that have had a lot of issues. They've had this and that. My most recent experiences, we have 25 school buses with the 7.3 Godzilla. We have a 26 with the 7.3 Godzilla. And what I can say is if you know how rental cars are treated in buses and work trucks, you worked really hard and not probably treated very well by the drivers. So the mechanics are probably scratching their head most of the time on that. But what I can say is we have 25s with 35,000, 40,000 miles and had no issue. So do I think that the problem is fixed? I think it's probably ironed itself out. Is the potential is there? Sure, whatever. Keeping in mind, idling was always a concern with the 7.3 because of the variable pressure oil pump. That's been used for a long time, so it's not necessarily new to any engine. But a lot of people think that's the oil pressure concern. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I think it was more of a manufacturing concern of the parts that are in the engine. So I would say, yeah, the 7.3 is reliable. Our buses idle all the time. So, and there's not much difference between that 7.3 and the 7.3 you're getting in the Super Duty. It's basically identical engine, but keeping in mind, the buses are also running big, huge alternators, big, huge air compressors, so we can have air brakes. And in addition to that, they're also running on propane. So maybe that has something to do with it too. So yes, overall, I think the 7.3 is reliable, especially in these latest generations of it. And it still gives a thumbs up from me all the time. All right. What's the fuel economy? This is a big hot topic because whenever I mention fuel economy in a heavy duty truck, a lot of people are like, I buy a heavy duty truck, I don't care about fuel economy. And that's totally okay. But a lot of people do, and I do too. I'm reminiscent of 454s and 350s and the old 360s and the old 460s from Ford and abysmal fuel economy. Well, these new engines get substantially better fuel economy. They do require you to run 87 or better, and if you want the most out of the Godzilla, you're going to need to run premium. The 87 won't hurt it, and you can actually run E10, E15 in that. It's not a flex fuel engine, but you can run E10, E15 and save a little bit more money at the pump and really not sacrifice that much in fuel economy. But I can say in my 22 Ford that I had with the 7.3 Godzilla, I think the best we ever saw was 18. It was kind of a fluke, but I think the average was right around 15. In the 430 Tremor, again, you have a big lifted truck, knobby tires. They're not for economy. Towing was in the 9s, I think, on average, if I remember right. We have the fuel economy videos over there. And the biggest outlier time I got was like 17 and a half. But average, it was about 15 and a half. So fuel economy, actually pretty good considering the power, the weight of the vehicle. Fords are big boxes. And so not a lot of aerodynamics there, at least on the Tremor. And fuel economy is right up on par. And is it as good as a diesel? Well, not necessarily, but then some guys say they get 25 in their diesel, and some people experience 12, 13, 14. That's also subject to how you drive. If you drive easy, if you drive hard, it will directly affect your fuel economy. All right, if I bought another 7.3 Godzilla, what would I get? Well, me personally, and we've talked about this before, for the small upcharge to go to an F350 and over F250, I would go F350. I would go with the 430, no matter if you're getting a Tremor or if you're just getting a regular, heavy Super Duty. Tremor being the off-road package. I don't need that. I like the look of it. I like the ride height of it, and I actually liked how it towed. I think it did really well. And I'm not an off-roader, but I probably would omit the Tremor package and go with the F350, 430 electronic locker, and the 7.3 Godzilla every day of the week. So that's how I'd order it. Forget about the trim levels, whatever trim levels really fits your needs, your budget. I think there's no such thing as a base truck, so I wouldn't really talk about trims as doing it, but no matter what trim I was getting, maybe an XL, you can't get a 430 and an F350, but I'm pretty sure you can. But always make sure that you get the electronic locking rear on Ford. It does bump up your towing. All right, and we can have more of these video guys. If you want more Q&A on the actual 7.3, then just hit me up in this video and say, hey, here's another list of questions. We'll make another video and go on from there. All right, last but not least, what is the max tow for a 7.3 when it comes in the conventional and fifth wheel or gooseneck towing, and in what configuration? Well, trucks from 10 years ago that were diesels can't even tow as much as gassers these days. Now, Ford beats everybody when it comes to tow ratings. And they're not as specific as to this and that and this and that. You go to Ram's website, you have to really get a specific gross vehicle weight rating to get their highest towability in the 6.4 Hemi. You really have to build out that truck specific. And then keeping in mind, and if you're going to try and go with a 2,500, 3/4 ton, whatever you want to call that, a 250, is making sure you get the right payload package, because even if you think you can tow that much, you may not have enough payload, so keep that in mind. So for 2025 and 2026, Ford does come in with the highest tow rating numbers for a gas engine truck. Now, to get the most tow rating, you have to go with an F350, and now they are pushing 21,900 pounds. That's with the 430 and electronic locker, and depending if you go trimmer or whatnot, that can change that. Of course, the dually gives you a little bit more payload, but the numbers are almost identical as the non-dually, because the gas does have its limitations. It's not going to tow as much as a diesel, and I think once you're pushing up there, then you are. So 19,500 is the max conventional tow with that same configuration. So an F350 430 rear, no matter if it's a long bed, short bed, crew cab, whatever, 4x4, 2x4, it's all roughly around the same exact number, keeping in mind that Chevy kind of max out right around 19 something on their gasser, and then of course Ram maxes out too at that number or less. So really, that is the max tow. And going forward for 2026, the numbers have not changed any. They're basically identical. Again, 21,900 pounds with a gas heavy duty truck. And I guess to segue off that before we leave, as somebody said a long time ago, what do you think towing 19,000 with Loki was like? And I can tell you, I wanted to actually push it to the max, but the truck wasn't rated any higher of that. Being an F250 with the payload package, we were right at that 19.5 mark. And I feel like the 7.3 Godzilla could do that 21,000. And I've seen other videos out there where guys are doing it in the early generations, the 21s and the 22s. They were actually towing that, and I don't remember if they were necessarily even rated for that, but I would want the truck to be rated for that, then I could try it. But I would be excited to see how it would do, because that's top tier for a gas. I mean, looking back to the 2000s when GM had the 8.1, the biggest engine you could get in a truck at that time, almost ever actually, just in a regular pickup truck, was the 8.1. And I had one, and I drove one, and it had tons of power, and that thing wasn't even rated at like 9,000, 10,000 pounds. And here we have a smaller displacement engine pumping out even more horsepower and having even a higher tow rating. So yeah, that is going to be your max tow, guys. So I hope that these Q&A questions did help some things come up. Again, if you want more Q&A on the 7.3, we can talk about it. I've had two. I've lost one to engine failure, and the other one's bought back because they had so many electrical issues, Ford couldn't figure it out. And would I buy another 7.3? Absolutely. Would I buy another Ford? Yes. And some people will call me a fool because I've had problems with them. But at the end of the day, I mean, you're going to have problems potentially with all of them. And I know that the overwhelming majority of people have actually had good luck with their Super Duties and their F-150s and their Chevys and their Rams. And I had good luck with Rams. I've had really good luck with GM products. So yeah, I would buy another one. I would. And when I get done with this diesel, unless something crazy comes up, I could absolutely see myself going back and buying an F-250 or F-350. I love the way Ford's cabs are. I love the easy tech, the look of them, and I think the 7.3 is awesome. And I spent about 2 days driving the 26 bus with the 7.3, and man, I love that V8 sound, and I just love it. Power was really good. It had like a 529 rear in it, so obviously we're talking a very low gear thing to move this big huge box. It wasn't a speed demon, absolutely not, but over the V10 it's really good. It was as fast as my diesel bus? No, but it did so good. I mean, this engine is not big in a sense of moving this big box, and it did really well. So absolutely, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you guys for all the questions that keep pouring in on everything. We'll make videos as we go, and I'm going to catch you on the next one.